Welcome to the Nerds Against Normality podcast. I'm Stacey Bowles and I'm busy pouring drinks in my saloon. And I'm here with Harry Bowles. He's in here chewing tobacco and starting fistfights.
Howdy, y'all.
And Ben Sheridan, who's put on his prettiest little dress and is busy propositioning all the wealthy patrons.
This is why we need to review the intros before you start saying them. So on today's episode, we're reviewing a film from my childhood that I remember seeing.
Your childhood?
In my childhood, your two teenage years, young adult years, that has either aged very well or hasn't aged well at all. I'm of course talking about Wiki Wiki Wah, Wild Wild West, with me, James West. I can't remember the rest of the lyrics. For anyone who doesn't know about this, the Wild Wild West is about the two best special agents in the Wild West must save President Grant from the clutches of a diabolical, wheelchair-bound, steampunk-savvy, classically trained actor, Kenneth Branagh, during the time of just after the Confederate War. Directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, it had a budget of...
I think it was quite high. So I'm going to go for a solid 20 mil.
Okay.
I'm going to go like 60.
Okay. Wow. Very close, both of you, on a budget of 170 million.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Budget of $170 million.
Oh my god, did it make it back?
It was the production company's biggest gamble to date. And
what production company was it? Does it still exist?
They do not. There are no hyperlinks. It was distributed by Warner Brothers as well, so it was a big, big risk for them at the time.
Well, didn't that pay off?
Did it pay off though? What was the box office? From 170 million.
171 million.
I reckon it's like 220.
Oh, it was 222 million.
That's not a bad guess.
Okay.
It would have been a complete box office failure.
Absolutely.
It would have been an absolute flop. Because you've got to account for as well things like marketing budgets and all that. You would need so much money to break even.
I'm surprised it made that much money, but I guess a lot of people would have gone to see it because this was Will Smith in his prime, wasn't it? So it's like...
Well, I'd say it's just before his prime.
Really? I think this, to be fair, this
Independence Day would have been fresh out.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think at this point, and I could be wrong, he was like the new hot movie star.
He was new hotness.
He was going from Fresh Prince to movies.
He would have been one of the biggest box office draws. And also he was just about to start doing things like Bad Boys.
Bad Boys, Bad Boys.
Yeah, thankfully he didn't do the song for that one.
Willy Wild West.
Willy Wild West. There's not an English fairy tale.
The Scottish version. Willy Wild West.
Name's West. Ken West.
That's how the song went, yeah.
Okay, you know what?
West. I say bring back songs. Like, could you imagine,
Yes,
like,
100%.
Oppenheimer being sung?
I would love that. What did we think of Wild Wild West? I'm going to throw it over to you two. First of all, I have a lovely sip of tea. Oh, and also, this was just after we did a challenge after the Video Game Awards where I failed and had to eat an incredibly the world's hottest chip. So sometimes you're going to hear me sniffling and just go quiet and maybe hit the floor.
Crying. Excessive farting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can only apologise for that beforehand.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy your morning commute.
If you wanted to know why he did the hot chip challenge, you should check out our previous episode, the VGA Awards / Final Fantasy VII review, where Ben took it like a bitch.
There is a video of him crying on our social media, should you want to see it.
Yeah, I'm wiki sad.
Harry,
Yeah?
what did you think?
Yeah, this film was terrible.
It's going to be a short review.
I was hoping, because I didn't have bad memories of this.
No, me either.
Like, I watched this when I was younger, and I thought it was fine. I didn't think, oh my god, I can't wait to watch that. But I also don't have bad memories of it. Yeah, I guess being a brief version is not a great film. Also, not a kids' film, which I was led to believe.
I also thought it was a kids' film.
Yeah, not a kids' film at all.
What was the rating? Do you know? Because that's one of my questions.
I believe it was a 15, but I can double check that.
I can believe that.
It's on my notes of I thought this was a kids film. I see boobs. It's a 15, but yeah, definitely not a kids film.
No, I honestly wouldn't really want to watch it again. I don't think. You?
I'm kind of speechless about this film, to be honest.
The good kind?
Leave it there.
I just don't know what they were thinking. I think It had a massive budget, as you've just said. They threw absolutely everything at this film.
Yeah.
They've got Kenneth Branagh in it, Will Smith,
We'll get to that.
Selma Hayek.
Yep. They've got massive names in here. All the big characters. Kenneth Branagh, Will Smith, Salma Hayek. The other one.
Yeah.
Kevin Kline.
Oh, Calvin Klein.
No,
Jesus
not Calvin.
Christ.
That's why it looks so good.
Yeah. They've clearly spent a large amount of the budget on the special effects and things like that. And that's about all the positives I have to say.
That's fine. You don't have to be positive. Just your little answers.
No, even on paper, I think this film wouldn't read well. If you put down the plot of the film, I don't think, like, if someone brought this to you as a studio executive, would you have gone, yeah, this sounds like the next big hit?
There would have been a massive pause while I read the script. And then I would have gone,
Oh, he calls Will Smith a coon. Cool.
Oh, yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah. I don't think that's cool.
No.
But what was Will Smith thinking of doing this film as well?
I think he was getting paid a lot of money,
It's
I reckon.
incredibly racist. You know what I think happened here? Did Will Smith
Everyone did acid?
Did Will Smith have anything to do with the behind the scenes of it? Did he produce it, direct it, write it, anything?
No.
Because it sounds to me like this film is just the epitome of people getting carried away. I feel like they briefly went, oh, do you know what? You haven't done a Western. Do you want to do a Western? Yeah, and I'll write the theme music to it. Oh, amazing. You want to write the theme music to it? Do you want to get called a coon? Yeah, okay, well, let's move past that.
And what will I say to the other guy? Something about him not having legs. Oh, it seems fair.
I mean, if you're going to go for the stereotype, go for the obvious stereotype here.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't want to do that. That's racist.
It's not racist if you don't have legs, Harry. Okay, so, I mean, I'll finally say my bit. When it started, I was still enjoying it.
To clarify, this was your pick.
This was my pick. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes, I don't know if you've had this yet with your film picks, where you're watching it, and I watch it on my own, you obviously watch it here, and I'm watching it thinking, oh, Harry and Stacey have seen this exact same sequence played out. And I felt really upset with myself.
I've let the team down.
I genuinely thought, I can't believe I've let Harry and Stacey watch some of this. I've wasted their evening.
This isn't even in the category of it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
It's just a poor film.
This is the thing. When I started it, I was still enjoying it. Like when they're in the water tower and it falls out, all that sort of stuff, I can actually it was enjoyable.
It's a bit stupid, bit fun.
Yeah, but I was kind of expecting that from a film called Wild Wild West, Wiki Wiki Blah, from 1999. And I was like, fine, I'm not going into this expecting, absolute gold. But then I was like...
Ben, can I tell you how good this film was?
Go on.
Harry fell asleep.
I had to rewatch the last 15 minutes when Ben was here, actually.
Yeah, I wish I'd got the look on Harry's face when he was watching it as well.
I think really going for it, right? Looking at the positives... I think the special effects are really good.
They still hold up.
Yeah,
I would say. There's a few little clunky things, but I would say
green screen.
But I would say for the most part, it actually still the spider at the end, the giant spider, still holds up really well.
The train that drops down.
Yeah,
that was really good. I think the best special effect though was him on the wheelchair. Because under the wheelchair you could see through it. It wasn't like he had a cloak or anything, and
you couldn't see his arsehole.
You couldn't, and I fucking looked. I was pausing quite a lot.
I just wish you hadn't bought this on Blu-ray.
Yeah, so crystal.
Got to get that real detail in there.
Yeah, I'd like to actually have seen how they did that because that was quite smart.
There's a bit behind the scenes footage. It's anytime you see the whole body, it's Kenneth Branagh literally kneeling.
It's that simple.
It is kind of that simple. Obviously, they've got to paint it out.
Yeah.
But they put him sort of into the wheelchair that has a false fake bottom on it, and he just is kneeling for most of it. Apparently he had to get up every few minutes and walk around because he would do these long speeches, so then the blood would just completely clot off from his legs. But he's
leaving him actually handicapped.
He went full method for this. Apparently he really studied like a lot of American Civil War to prepare for this role, and he's also apologised saying that this might be the worst accent ever by a British actor trying to do an American Southern accent. I was surprised when he came out with that accent. I'm surprised Kenneth Branagh is in this film. And also, he was legless. So what did you think of the special effects?
Anyway, Ben.
There we go. Not to discredit Salma Hayek, she's a bloody good actress, incredibly good at what she does. Her
nice
character...
ass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. I remember watching that bit and I put the pillow over my head. I was like, oh my... But she is Not just useless, she's also just bad in a crisis. Just really bad. Like when they've got the...
Oh, she sets the gas off.
She sets the sleeping gas off for no reason.
There was one moment where I thought she was going to turn it around, where she sneaks onto the train.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, maybe she's actually like a secret spy, or like a, you know, she's going to join in the action. She's going to save them all. Oh, no, wait. There's her ass.
Yeah, of course.
All she's in that film for is to tell them where he's going.
Yeah.
She's a plot device. And you could have had her as any character just being rescued and going, oh my God, they're going to Utah to go to the president. And then that character's done. But they're like, no, we need some eye candy for the film.
Yeah.
We need a pretty girl who's a ditz and is going to make some conflict between the males. Because that's funny. That's real funny.
Yeah.
That's humour.
But also, somehow it wasn't a particularly massive actress back in the day as well. So I'm like, I don't know if it probably wasn't for like her name on the film. So I think she took this film for the same reason Kenneth Branagh apparently took this film, which was that he was offered a very, very sizable amount of money.
She hasn't aged though, Salma Hayek, has she?
No. To be fair, Will Smith has not aged much either.
No.
Kevin Kline has aged.
Sherlock. That is who he is in this, isn't he?
Yeah, so that was one of my favourite parts of this film, was Kenneth Branagh accent. I didn't mind his accent, but I wouldn't know if it was off because I'm not Southern American.
No, but not just from South America, Southern United States who listens to this. Let us know if how that accent is for us. I thought it was okay.
I thought it was fine. And yeah, what was his name? Arnold, you're saying?
Yeah.
Arnold, the sidekick to Will Smith, if you like. I really liked him. He was probably my standout character of the whole thing. But because I felt that his character was essentially Sherlock. He wears disguises. He's a bit quirky. He's really smart and into his tech and his experiments and stuff.
He just doesn't do doesn't do anything in the film really.
But he's charming, I think.
He is charming, but
I like that.
And I mean, like, this isn't like a thing just about him, but like, there's no character in this that really goes through any kind of like change or does anything like particularly significant. You don't really know why they're there.
I think
when you do, it's boring.
Will Smith's character's supposed to go through a change, but I don't think it's significant enough for you to notice.
No, he starts as a quippy outlaw and he ends as a quippy outlaw.
No, but I think at the end he learns that he should rely on other people. Like, so he relied on Arnold by the end, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, the shooting him in the leg thing. Just like, again, like the whole thing is like, oh, I don't use guns. I find them really primitive. And it's like, use his gun. And it's like, but what was the change there? Like, you'll find, like, I don't like using guns because it's, I don't like hurting people or killing people. I'm quite happy to throw two women off a massive spider, though, to their deaths. I'm quite happy to do that, though.
There's lots of times I was like, dead. They're dead.
So dead.
I mean,
yeah.
The bit where Will Smith gets crunched by the really bad, the metal leg that he spawns.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, it's hydraulic.
Yeah.
And he like presses it on his chest, and fair enough, he's got the armour on the chest. So I was like, maybe that could sustain some pressure.
Yeah.
But then it goes onto his cheek, and I was like, dead.
Yeah.
He's so dead.
Will Smith's character in this was, for me, one of the biggest flaws. Will Smith, especially at this time in his career, is hot property, as we've already said.
Yeah.
And anything you see him in, he's great, right?
Most of the time, yeah.
Except this film. He was an arse. I hated him.
Really?
I really couldn't bear watching him. Like, everything about him. Like, I get that they're bringing a different vibe to the Wild Wild West. But he's...
Wild Wild West, thank you.
But he's just, like, not even in the time period whatsoever. Everyone's, like, kind of talking in a Wild Wild West kind of slang. And then there's Will Smith being like, yo, what's up?
Just being Will Smith.
It just doesn't work.
I'm pretty sure Will Smith just wandered onto the set from, I don't know, a holiday.
Yeah.
And he just decided to sort things out. It's actually a documentary.
It just doesn't work. And then also, like, he just couldn't give a shit about anything throughout. Nothing at all. Like, he doesn't care about the women. At one point, he wants to get with Salma Hayek, sort of, but I think just to be an arse to Arnold.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she's like, I'm married, and Arnold's proper devastated, and Will Smith's like, yeah, fair.
Could have just told us that.
Yeah, not bothered.
But this isn't like, she's married, like, okay, fine, but there's no chemistry between any of them anyway.
No.
Like, There's no bits in this film when you think, oh, who's she going to choose in this weird love triangle? Like, there's nothing in this which is like, the plot is all over the fucking place, and loads of it just doesn't make any kind of sense.
I have to disagree with what you said earlier, though. I think on paper, you could make this into a good film.
Go on.
Do you not, like, if a better director had come in, and it's just because it's a buddy comedy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're both different
Would
characters.
you say they were buddies?
No, but they're not. They're
two people that have to be teamed up to
Yeah,
do
they don't
something
get
bigger.
on. It's the other guys.
Yeah.
Right, in the Wild West. And that's all you've got to do. It's just, if you've just got to make them two likeable, not compatible, but by the end, compatible. I don't know. I just think, because you don't care about either character.
No.
So that's what makes the other films like that charming, is that you end up rooting for them. But this one, you just couldn't give a shit.
Yeah. I will give it this, which is kind of a good thing, because I wrote in the notes. The actual gadgets and the gizmos and the little inventions, all that sort of stuff I quite liked. Like, I love the Dremel thing he's got, and he puts into his boot and he starts to make that hydraulic thing. I love the weird kind of pool table thing that flips upside down, and I love the ejector seat and like the little contraption he makes at the end. Like, that sort of stuff I quite like. I thought that was really well done for me, because it's sort of very aesthetically pleasing. Maybe I just like gears and cogs and stuff turning.
Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, just it. Yeah, you know, actually, yeah, it's so Wallace and Gromit.
So I thought it was like Spy Kids versus Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's what I thought.
Would you rather watch Spy Kids or watch this again?
Spy Kids.
Okay, Spy Kids.
Brilliant.
Spy Kids, I think, is another one of those films that we
No.
remember quite fondly.
No.
Never seen it.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Okay.
And I think it will still hold up today.
Okay, well, we know what Stacey's next film is. Let's see. Let's see what happens then. Oh, we've seen someone's arse.
Why Selma Hayek in this?
I think Selma Hayek is in it. I think Selma Hayek is
can
in
only
it.
hope.
No.
Okay.
It's Frankie Muniz, isn't it?
No.
Malcolm in the Middle?
No.
Spy Kids 3, I think. We're getting off topic.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, he was Cody Banks.
Agent Cody Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah, we need a James Bond spy, but just underage. But like, what did you think of that other little things like the kind of, you know, your sets and the VFX still stand up. The story.
I didn't mind the
absolutely.
sets. I brought that up. I thought costumes and sets were decent.
Yeah, they were good. No, not for you, Stace.
The sets were okay. Harry at one point actually turned around and went, I thought you'd love this film because of the sets and the costumes. I think the sets were okay, but especially at the beginning they were used comically but stupidly. Like, I think someone gets thrown through a wall at the slightest push.
Oh, yeah, the brothel.
But other than that, like, they do look impressive. I think you can tell the odd green screen is behind them sometimes.
There are bits in especially in the desert, I was like, that is a green screen they're standing on. They're standing in nothing. But
Yeah.
I think for the most part, a lot of the sets were practical. Because it's back in the day when VFX was still quite new. You didn't really know how to use it as much, so you did as much as you could practically, and the things that you absolutely knew 100% had to be...
100-foot mechanical spider.
Well, apparently that's all practical.
They used that. They took over Utah.
Absolutely. I'm going to say they would never have been able to take over anywhere, because I put it in the notes. A giant mechanical spider as a tank is fine terrain-wide. It is not a very good super weapon if one bloke can climb it, which he does very easily. It's a bad tank if you're one person can just climb up it.
He has about 6 bodyguards.
Yeah.
That's it.
3 of them don't work. Like, one of them just falls over the edge of it.
That scene with Will Smith and the Arnold guy at the end, where they've got the magnets and they're trying to run away from each other in the canyon.
Oh, God, yeah.
The sound on that set, shocking. Because that's clearly a set, not a...
Oh, that's definitely a set, yeah.
Because you can hear them walking and it's echoing, which I thought was really poor. The costumes were okay, but they weren't stand out for me, apart from the MVP, which is Will Smith's hat.
Oh, he looks so
Looks
fit in that
amazing.
hat.
I'm going to say I like his outfit. It doesn't match the time frame or anything like that, but my God, it's a good outfit he's got.
Yeah.
I do like the hat. I also like to pull that hat off.
My favourite look in this whole film was probably Arnold dressed as a woman, and then he has the weird hypno eyes in his vagina.
Well, I mean, like most women, I would assume.
That joke was absurd.
That was all
when he
weird.
slaps the boobs of the actual woman.
Oh,
and he's like, oh yeah, your boobs are looking good tonight. He's like...
The jokes throughout the entire film were so offensive. Like, even then, like, what are you thinking?
I was going to say, does the humour land for you? This is
No.
this is technically classed as a comedy.
It landed
Was there
in the
any
way...
bits that made you laugh?
Yeah, there was one bit that really got me.
Okay.
And it was stupid. But
Might be the same bit for me, I think.
it's at the train station where Selma Hayek is saying goodbye, and she's like swooning, going bye boys, bye. And Arnold, he's like in the window, like waving, and then the mist goes up, and then it goes to a different window, and he's sitting there like really suave, just like waving. The cut between the two, it really got me.
There were a couple of moments that were like giggles, and then when he's talking about talking about how fit Salma is, and she's climbed on board the train, and he's going on about
Oh yeah.
and it's like little giggles. But on the most part, I think our loudest laughs were the ones that we were like, I can't believe
You didn't laugh
that
because
this is-
you didn't laugh because of the script. You laughed because of the film, what the film itself was
How on
trying to
earth it got
do.
away with it.
Yeah. But
I
like,
did-
Well, the knife foot. That got me.
That really.
You know,
yeah,
the guy's
that's
got
quite
two
funny.
knives in his hand, and he's like, and it was just like, gets his foot one out, and he's like, just waggling his foot about. I got a raise out of it.
A bit that did make me laugh was was actually that hanging scene. Just
The bungee rope thing.
yeah, not because of the bungee rope, that bit, but it's before that when he's actually like getting control of the audience again. He's like, look, come on, let's just all go back inside. Let's all just forget about this, and people generally start moving back in. I was like, okay, that's quite funny. I'd give him that. But everything, so much of the stuff around it is like just full on offensive.
To get
Yeah.
to that point is very offensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like from my native land, you know, that's
Yeah.
how we praise women. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm going to come back to that in a second.
That bit,
actually,
it's just like
because-
my native land. Some bloke like,
Georgia?
No.
Africa. That got me, to be fair, that was
so shocking. But I can confirm that the boob slap joke is like just horrible, so much so that Harry tried to recreate it this morning on me whilst I was getting dressed. Let me tell you, it didn't end well.
Must be so nice to be in a relationship. Oh yeah, is that why that noose is outside, Harry?
She just doesn't like foreplay.
Oh,
I say.
oh, God. Women. Oh, I'm lonely.
All right.
Also, when he's talking about actually, to be fair, that also got me fuck it, this film's great.
Yeah.
I've actually just realised this film was really good. When he's talking about the fake boobs, and he's like, well, you don't want to be using, what is it, like,
It pours
seed?
it down the fucking sink.
Oh, yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah. You have problems there, mate.
Yeah.
Will they put down sink?
Oh, he uses a grain
Yeah, some sort of black seed thing.
Yeah.
I can't
Oh, in
remember.
for the boobs.
Yeah, and he's like, fills it with water. And in my head, I was like, don't fill out water. Literally, I was like, it wouldn't work properly. Although then the train driver hearing that, and just being like, all right, now you touch my chest. And he's like, oh, God, I'm not having it. Not on my train.
The most cringiest word, I think, in the entire film, other than the offensive ones, was using the word boobies
Boobies?
over and over. I can't bear it. Makes my skin crawl.
Really?
Yeah, do you not think?
No, we're
Is that
gonna-
just a female
I'm
perspective?
going to write that down for the rest of the podcast.
Boobies?
Yeah. Will Smith just always being like, oh, your boobies don't look great. Ugh, cringe. Ugh. Okay, that was just me. All right.
No, that's fair enough. Oh, yeah, like, there's nothing in this that's particularly like. I think someone who had a really good time on this film was Kenneth Branagh. I think he had a really fun time, potentially. Just like
You said earlier that he regretted this film.
I think he regretted it, like, because in hindsight, like, he obviously took it for a paycheck. But I think if you're going to do that, you might as well make the most of it, and I think he does. Like, I think he as a character isn't too. Not him as a character, but like, I like his design. I quite like the way he talks. I like all of his little like long soliloquies, this sort of stuff. But
He's a shit as well.
he's just not. He's also not very clever. There's a lot of plot points in this. Like
That tank, the tank that goes when they're on the ship and they're watching the tank massacre the little troop.
yeah.
The Gatling guns are so high,
They
they wouldn't have shot anyone.
You
If anything, the people on the boat
Yeah,
would have been in danger.
you could have ducked.
Yeah.
You could have ducked.
Yeah. I would have just been like, I'm going to lay down. I'm just going to pretend I'm good. Oh!
I love the fact that like Will Smith gets there first and then decides to, instead of like inspecting troops and bullet wounds, just decides to lean against the wagon looking really cool until the other two arrive.
There's a lot of things that just don't land, though, I think. Like,
None of this lands.
it was supposed to be a comedy, but it wasn't really that funny. Maybe it was just, like, really extremely stupid. Like, he's kissing the air at the start. Like, he thinks he's not kissing the woman. It just didn't work. And also, at the start of the film, it flashed up with subtitles saying, meanwhile, across town, just so unnecessarily, but it's like, are you, like...
I can't believe you've stolen my joke again.
Yeah. Harry did say that, but I thought it was a very good point.
Meanwhile, the next scene.
But that's the only time that ever comes up. That never comes up.
The film is about to begin.
I tell you what, I disagree with you here as well. It does have one thing going for it. The song. It's a banger.
Okay, this may come up every now and again because we may be going into the era, not now, but, you know, every now and again we might pick a film which has got an original song attached to it. Like if we were doing Men in Black, actually any Will Smith film usually makes, made £7 are very awkward. Very awkward word. Is this a good song?
Yeah.
There's going to be its own category. Is Wild Wild West a good song?
Yeah. Oh, without doubt.
Okay. Most communities would disagree with you.
That's a good song.
I also agree. And that is actually the reason why I chose this film.
Because of that.
I was sat in a pub with Stacey with an I, and for some reason...
Hopefully two.
Well, that's a better joke than Wild Wild West. That's a better joke than any of Wild Wild West. Sorry. We were sat in the pub, and I can't remember what we were just talking about, like, films, and then talking about film songs. And then she went, oh, like, Wild West. And I was like, do you remember the lyrics to Wild West? I was like, no. But I remember Will Smith sung it.
Oh no, I don't remember the lyrics.
So she started to read them out. I thought they were quite funny. And then we needed a film to review. So that the song is the reason we watched Wild Wild West. Because...
Thanks, Stacey.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Stacey with an I.
You're welcome. I'm going to need to look at these lyrics now.
Yeah. So we've established that. I had a thought in this, because clearly they wanted this to be a franchise.
100%.
This was clearly meant to be the setup to a sequel after sequel after sequel of, you know, different enemies and different places in the Wild Wild West.
Stupid hijinks between the two.
Yeah, all that, because you had everything there. You had, like, the gunslinger, you had the scientist, and the moving train going around the US, all this sort of stuff. And I thought, you're okay, Stace.
Yeah, okay. I'll change my mind about the song.
No, can't change your mind.
Will it get rebooted?
No.
I wish it would. With all the original cast.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to read you some of the lyrics.
Please do. This is
Wild West.
Stacey's song corner. She normally does the sexism bit, but we'll go to the songs for her.
Just to establish, it starts with do 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 do, wiki wild wild, do 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 do, wiki wiki wild.
Yeah.
So one of the verses is, any damsel that's in distress, be out of that dress when she meets Jim West. Roughnecks, so go check the law and abide. Watch your step or flex and get a hole in your side.
I mean, all very accurate so far. So this one is to be a friend. I think this wanted this to be a franchise. And my first note was, is this adapted from a comic book or something like that? Because it seems like it was everything seems like a bit too well established when I was watching the film. It's like you wouldn't pump 170 million into
a gamble franchise.
A steampunk Wild West film. Like that just doesn't...
That's what I mean. I just think they got carried away because...
So here's the thing. It is adapted from something.
Oh.
There was a TV show back in the 60s called Wild Wild West.
Right.
Which was a steampunk-esque kind of... It had Jim West as a gunslinger, it had Arnold as a scientist. They went around by a train fighting bad guys. And the main villain in the film is actually an amalgamation of two villains in the TV show. So I went back and I watched a few episodes of the TV show this morning before recording because I wanted to know why. Is this any different from the film? Like, is there any kind of like major changes they made? And there are a few. Well, first of all, like Jim West is white in the first one, but that's neither here nor there. It's so different. It is so different.
Less glasses?
It's so well. Maybe. I'd hope so. Again, I only watched 3 episodes. Maybe I didn't get to the 4th one, which is the orgy or something. I'm like, blimey!
This whole episode took a twist.
Yeah, it's all blokes. Yay!
That is wild.
And it's so much slower paced, and it's more of like them investigating, and it's a lot more of like, you'll get me next time, Jim West, and then the bad guy jumps onto like a steam powered wagon and then drives away.
Just for the listeners there, Ben was twiddling his moustache.
I was. What's left of it? So apparently they all of the cast and everything like that who watched this, essentially what they were trying to go for, which was a reboot, they hated it. The main guy who plays Jim West also turned down a cameo role because he was like, you've completely butchered the character, and like they had much more going for them in the TV show originally. So if anyone actually would like to just spend a good hour watching 2 episodes like I did, it's actually quite fun. And then you watch the film, you think, what the fuck has happened here?
Oh God.
It is like it's like going from, do you watch the old Superman TV show?
Yeah, with Terry Hatcher.
Yeah. It's like going from that to like Superman, to like Man of Steel or something. Or it's like going from the Star Trek TV show to Star Trek the film.
Both great.
I won't have it, mate. The new Star Trek trilogy is good.
Yeah. Well,
You're still delirious from eating the hot chip.
I've been delirious this whole review. I've had to eat a hot chip and watch Wild Wild West.
Which was worse?
We know which one was worse.
Ask me tomorrow morning.
I'll still have the same answer.
I didn't quite get the spideriness of the villain.
Right, I was going to ask that. Why is it all spiders based?
Because they've got 8 legs and he's got none. No, that was literally what I thought.
Oh, okay.
His beard was quite spidery. But like, it's weird because this kind of spider design reminded me of Spider-Man a little. But
oh, well, the emblem that was on the discs.
yeah.
Yeah, it did look like Spider-Man.
But clearly, not the same vibe. It just seemed really random. Again, it just didn't, like, whatever.
I thought it was potentially, I didn't get to that villain in the TV show because there was 4 seasons of it as well. It ran for a long time.
Oh.
I'm assuming that is part of the original villain's like symbol or something like that, or it was meant to be like a Spectre or like a secret organisation that used a spider as its emblem. I thought, but again, not quite sure.
Don't know.
No, don't know. Also, don't care.
Yeah, I was going to say, of all the things to invest your time in,
Yeah, it's not that.
you should have invested in the main characters more.
You should invest in a fucking story.
Now, chaps, as you know, I always like to bring some nuance.
Do you?
I've found some.
Right.
In this?
That's right.
Stacey's got a lot of corners today. This is Stacey's nuance corner now. Fresh from Stacey's song corner.
Yeah, we're going from Stacey's nuance to Harry's rant of the week.
Yeah.
Why are you going to set me off?
No. So the only nuance I could find was there was one scene, again quite random, where it looked to me like they were building the White House, right?
Yeah. Quite early on.
Quite early on. And Will Smith's character is quite clearly walking through the park that's in front of the White House.
Yeah.
And I know this film would have been made in the late 90s, so they wouldn't have known about Barack Obama, but
Right. Where's this going?
early foreshadowing of having a black president.
No.
No.
Okay, well that was the nuance I found. And also...
Where? What?
And also, because I think I know there was a lot of racism in this film, but I'm trying to think that they also had some positive undertones. So that was what I thought of Will Smith's character walking through the thing of the White House, because he was walking right into the middle of the kind of shot, and I thought, like, they're kind of making a statement that he's like, he's the real president here. And then at the end, when both him and Arnold have them looking at me. Like,
You are giving this film way too much credit.
And then at the end, when Ben and
I was in the film, yes.
when Will Smith and Arnold are with the magnets around their necks, and they're next to the cornfield, and they've got the square around them. There's no other reason that I can think of why they would be then running through a cornfield other than they were making a nod to slavery.
Yeah, I'm sure there is a thing of, I'm sure there might be like, okay, I'm going to go jump into the nuance corner here. Which is very nice. It smells a bit of damp, but we'll work on that. I think there may have been a thing of former Civil War hero, former slave, most likely chained around the neck. Yeah, possibly.
I think so. And also there is one sentence I think that Will Smith actually says to stand up for himself as being black I think he says it's not easy being in a room full of southern white racists.
That is a big plot point. I don't understand how they would have even let him through the door. Maybe I've missed that point. But he would have been at that point and they would have been like, what the hell?
Well, as much as I've pointed out that nuance, none of it kind of stands up because then immediately they, call him.
No, that's fair. You point out some really good nuance there. And then there's also the nuance of Selma Hayek's arse flap just staying open as well.
I've really tried.
Yeah. Well,
and as I've said that, Harry's completely clocked out.
No.
he's actually powered down. It's quite impressive.
That made me laugh. The fact that she comes from Texas and she talks like this.
Oh yeah, it was like a Southern belle.
Yeah,
With her
Texas
Spanish accent.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's Spanish?
She is American, but she's got I think a Mexican father. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Talking of asses, also that moment when the Asian lady comes into the room.
Oh yeah.
So Will Smith's in the room and he shoots people in the paintings. Do you remember that scene?
Oh my god,
that's so
that is ridiculous. I'm going to interrupt this for a second because that is ridiculous. Because why would you have people standing guard in paintings, in fucking paintings? It makes no sense. It is not there for any reason. I'm getting angry now. That's the chip talking. But he's literally gets shot from behind. But you've seen in that room before. You've seen that they're in it, and the paintings are still there. So what happens there? Do they swap the paintings around and they have to just fucking stand there in full period costumes with weapons? And then the only reason he sees it is because the reason he sees it is because he sees the reflection, she sees a look and he goes, oh, must be the painting behind me, and then shoots every other fucking painting. It's you would go there and go you're mad. What's the security system here? Do they all do that?
Mr. Sheridan, we've got a job for you in the White House. Oh my God, it's so exciting. I can't wait. Yeah, I need you to put on this formal wear and stand in a painting, please.
Yeah, I need you to dress as the Mona Lisa, okay? And I need you to just fucking sit here for 2 hours of your shift. And if you see anything, just kill them.
I don't think the Mona Lisa had a gun.
There's something off about this painting. He wasn't wearing shades. So stupid.
That whole scene is ridiculous though, isn't it? Because then the Asian lady comes in and she just flaps up her dress to sit on the desk and her whole ass is out. And you're
I don't really know.
Why?
That wasn't a particularly sexy shot. I'd have been ugh.
He's not even looking. It's that's for our benefit. It's not interesting.
I've got another small little thing here. My worst scene. The worst scene in this film is the one where they're about to execute Gordon. And he's got the chainmail vest on. Quite a funny bit there, which I quite liked. It was just I just find wearing a chainmail vest. I'm wearing body armour. He's like, can you shoot me in the heart of this country that I love so much? Shoot me in the head. And he goes, oh no. That's quite funny. But they get distracted.
By Will Smith.
By Will Smith, dressed as what is it, like a Persian dancer.
Yeah.
And no one questions this. No one just goes, hold on a minute.
Well, how has she got?
Where are
all
you?
The way here.
Yeah, who are you? And then no one questions this. I've put in there. I was quite tired yesterday. I'd come home from work and I was like, I've got to watch this film. I've heard good things.
You were busy.
I used to like it.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy just sitting down and relax this. It was 6 lines I put in this, which
you were busy Vaselining up your arsehole for the trip.
I mean, that wasn't for this. That's for something else. I was like, that would have been a whole day on set to film that dance. And I've just put in it, what was the dancing scene on set to film like? What was the crew's day? Were they happy? Were they proud of what they'd done? Was the classically trained actor sitting on his knees on a wheelchair proud of what he was accomplishing that day? Did anyone go home from the studio that day going, wow, I'm so glad I picked this industry to work in. Brilliant.
Do you think they shouted cut and then Will Smith was like, well, that's an Oscar in the bag?
This is almost as good as Men in Black.
Not Men in Black 2, though.
No, come on, mate.
No, it's not.
Men in Black 1. Oh, right. Well, again, I'm gonna wrap up it. I don't approve of this film. I'm gonna answer for both of you. You both don't approve of it either.
No.
No, another classic Ben pick, not approved.
Hang on, I picked some. We did Air Force One. That was my pick. I'm sure I've done other ones since then.
We all remember Damsel.
We liked it because it was bad, though. So, would you like to hear some fantastic trivia in this film? Because it is a gold mine. Mm-hmm. Unlike the gold mine, which was Wiki Wild West. So, this is the big one. So, Will Smith had a choice of 2 roles he could have chosen. One of them was Jim West in Wild Wild West. Do you know, Harry does, Stacey, do you know what the other role was?
I do.
And it was?
Neo.
He could have been Neo in The Matrix. And I know what you're thinking.
Ruined 2 franchises.
And I know what you're thinking. My God. The song he would have done for The Matrix.
Oh my God.
Matrix.
Oh.
Well, his future wife appears in The Matrix.
Jada Pinkett Smith, she does indeed, as Nairobi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turned down the role of The Matrix to do Wild Wild West because he was a fan of the TV show as a kid. So he chose this instead. He has said, however, he doesn't think he would have done it properly.
No, I agree. I think even if joking aside, I think Will Smith is a great actor. And
Yeah,
I like
so
him
do
in
I.
many things. I don't think he is suited. I think Keanu Reeves is so perfectly suited to play Neo. I think you could have other actors do a good job.
Yeah.
But Will Smith is not that guy.
I think Will Smith would have been too charming as Neo. Like, even when he's in the real world, he would have just been like quite, sort of handsome and a bit suave, and I think just a bit too like not fitting into the world. So apparently he has said, look, I regret turning down the role of Neo, but I wouldn't have done it properly. And I think Keanu Reeves did it much better than I would have done.
I mean, some might say he didn't do James West properly, but we'll leave it at that. Next trivia.
Indeed. Though a box office failure in the US, because obviously it only made $220 million from a $170 million budget. Do you want to know the funny reason why this movie would have earned its money in the US? Potentially.
Songwriter.
Not song rights. So apparently people were buying tickets to this film, going in, watching the opening, and then sneaking out to watch screenings of American Pie and South Park.
Oh.
So that's apparently why this film made any kind of like money at all in the US, because kids were buying tickets, which they
Old day piracy.
Yeah, they were literally buying tickets to Wild Wild West, coming out and going over to see South Park or American Pie just across the foyer.
I bet American Pie hasn't aged well either.
It hasn't. You can tell it hasn't aged well. We're gonna have to watch it.
Harry loves that film.
I used to absolutely adore that. The trilogy, I used to love them.
It's of no surprise that Kevin Kline, Salma Hayek, Will Smith, Kenneth Branagh, pretty much everyone in this film, and many staff at Warner Brothers hate this film. Hayek in particular thought she was being underused, while Kevin Kline, who plays Gordon, considers him he was too good of an actor for the product.
Too good of an actor. But wasn't too good to turn down that paycheck.
Wait.
No.
Who's Gordon?
Gordon is...
Sherlock.
Yeah, Sherlock.
I've been calling him Arnold the
I know, I'm pretty sure I messed that up.
Oh my God.
I've only just remembered he's actually called Gordon.
Thanks.
No. Arnold.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching this film. They're only listening to our podcast because they're friends.
They shouldn't watch this film.
How
How long was it? An hour and a half?
It was an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an hour and 40, I'm never getting back.
Yeah, after post-production, Warner Brothers had originally given up on the film, considering it the black sheep of the family, the movie being so bad that no one on the staff in quality control, which back in the day was people who would watch the films and suggest reshoots and changes, nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted to touch it. They're like, there's nothing we can do to make this film any better.
No.
And you're going to waste your
This
money.
fire is never being put out.
You'd be interested to know that the Wild Wild West... It's a catchy song. You'd be interested to know this did actually win awards.
No, it
Razzies. Hey.
God, we're all on the same wavelength. That's why it's a good podcast we do. We all have value. It was nominated for 8 Razzies and won 5.
Wow.
They turned up to claim their awards.
They didn't. Do you know who did? The guy who played the original Jim West
Nice.
in Wild Wild West
Nice.
came to claim it.
I think you might win an award for a Razzie in the morning.
Oh, great. Thanks. I think I've tried something in my life. I did something in my life. Would you like to hazard a guess as to what it won at the Razzies?
Best film?
So what are the categories? Give us an example.
There's things like basically anything in the Oscars, and then make it the worst Oscar. So you've got things like
Worst soundtrack, worst screenplay.
worst film.
It's not going to be the worst soundtrack.
No,
No, of course. Worst actor, worst supporting actor, all that sort of stuff.
Worst film.
So they
Worst
obviously,
directed film.
I can tell you what they were nominated for, and you might be able to tell me what they would have won out of that category that they were nominated.
5 out of 8.
They were nominated for worst actor, worst supporting actor, worst supporting actress, which is very funny because worst supporting actress has got 2 nominations from Wild Wild West. One is Salma Hayek, and one is Kevin Kline as the prostitute from the beginning.
Best character.
Worst screen couple, worst original song, worst screenplay, worst director, and worst picture.
Worst screenplay. Worst picture.
Yeah, agree.
Worst supporting actress.
Oh, you're on a streak then. It did win worst screenplay. It did win worst director. It did not win worst supporting actress.
Oh.
I'm shocked by that. I thought that was
Yeah, me too.
Surefire win.
It's not worst soundtrack.
It did win worst original song.
Oh.
Who's running this show?
The Razzies, a very prestigious group of people.
Have they ever heard music before?
No.
Can you look up how much that song made on its own? And
Yeah, I
would it
can
be
do.
more
I can.
than the film?
Yeah, I can do. It was certified gold, which means it sold over 500,000 records. It also won worst screen couple
Yeah.
for obviously Will Smith and Kevin Kline. And it's won worst picture in 1999. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't believe it.
it was an absolute wipeout. Yeah,
Wipeout.
and
Wiki wipeout.
we just talk about, and also like, shall I mention some of the films that came out in 1999?
Some of the worst ones. Who were nominated for the Razzies?
I could give you the Razzies, but like, some of the films got released in 1999. Any Given Sunday, Star Wars Episode 1, Lake Placid, great film. The World Is Not Enough, Eyes Wide Shut. Like, some absolutely incredible films came out. The Matrix came out in 1999.
As we know, because he couldn't be in it.
Exactly. House on Haunted Hill. Pokemon 2000, weirdly.
I have a question for Harry. Do you think this film was better or worse than the Disaster movie?
Worse.
You think
Worse than Disaster movie?
Yeah.
You'd rather watch the Disaster movie?
I would watch the Disaster movie after this podcast with Ben.
Okay.
Because that film is so shit, it's funny. Because you would watch it and you would be like, but why?
I can't enjoy things ironically.
But then, but I would.
I know.
Because I would see you getting angry.
I know, yes.
And that would bring me much joy.
You have had a lot today of like laughing at my discomforts. It's been a real thing about this evening. Oh, anyway, look. Bad film. Bad waste of time. I'm sorry, guys. I also paid £3.50 to rent this film. I want my £3.50 back.
Will Smith, please send me my money back.
If I ever work with Will Smith, I'm going to be like, you owe me £3.50. Yeah. Any closing thoughts, anyone?
Bring on a sequel.
Wild, Wild, Wild West.
Ooh.
Requiem.
Wequiem.
Wild, Wild West 2, Wilder. It's just a W. Wild, Wild West. Wild, Wild West 2, Revelations. We loaded.
Redemption.
Okay.
Stacey, take us out.
Okay. We've been Nerds Against Normality. Thanks for hanging. Catch all of our latest episodes every Wednesdays wherever you get your podcast from. Please follow, rate, like us on all social medias. And if you have a question or something you want us to review, please email us at nerdsagainstnormalitypod@outlook.com. Wiggle, 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 bye.
Bye.
Bye.